and show up. What will you miss the most about this whole entire series, man?
The people. I love the people. They are my family. So it's going to be, it's been really hard to think about life and work without them.
Finally know the truth about Millie Bobby Brown and David Harbour's bullying scandal, and it's proof you should always wait for a second source. Look, I was not going to
make that reunion hug outside. What do you two mean to each other? That was beautiful.
Noah and I?
No, you and David. We saw you guys get the reunion hug out there. It was great.
He's like my dad. Yeah, I'm so connected to him for life. We're so lucky to have each other.
For the very little lines you had, did you fake your American accent? Like the little lines you had?
No, I did not. No, I'm kidding. Of course I did.
Okay, can you
I
say...
mean, if I said, like, Mike, I'd say it's Mike. I'd obviously have to give like, Mike, you know.
She's got a really good American accent.
Friends don't lie. Friends don't.
Stranger Things is getting messier than the Upside Down, and today we're breaking down everything, from Millie Bobby Brown's alleged complaint against David Harbour to the real story behind their on-screen bond, the red carpet unity, and even Millie's personal life as a newlywed and new mom. Grab your tea because the receipts are wild. Stay tuned till the end so you don't miss a single twist in this ongoing saga.
The red carpet. How meaningful has the relationship with David been as you've gotten older?
So much. I mean, we play father and daughter, and similar to Noah and Noni, it's just like you have an amazing friendship, and
it's just been so special, like our friendships, and that's I feel like the most important part of
all of
the
it.
job.
Yeah, the human connection.
The fun seeing you and David on this carpet together. Everybody, talk to me about how special that connection is, and really all these relationships you have formed in your formative year.
I obviously have a really special bond with David because we have a father-daughter relationship, and we do every scene together.
Yeah.
And you'll really get to see that, in season 5. It's been so special to have him along the journey for me.
Standing up there with David Harbour, and like, how was that reuniting since you finished shooting?
It's been amazing. Yeah, I mean, we're so lucky to have each other. The show means so much to the both of us and to everyone here. This has like been the last 10 years of our lives, so we've dedicated a lot of it, and we're so excited to see that come to screen.
This season, but you did. Did she give you any tips on growing your hair out?
I'm gonna ask her, because if there is a way to do it, mine took a long time. It was annoying.
I just want this to be over.
Have you ever taken anything from set?
It's a very, very important item. We borrowed it from another movie that I stole.
So Millie Bobby Brown finally opened up about where she stands with David Harbour after all those reports claiming she actually filed a harassment complaint against him. Yes, that's the rumor that's been floating around, and apparently Netflix even did an internal investigation. No one really knows how it ended, but sources say Harbour wasn't accused of anything intimate. Still, the whole situation had fans side-eyeing everything happening behind the scenes.
Relationship with her Stranger Things dad, David Harbour, that made headlines when she allegedly filed a bullying claim against him before shooting on the final season began in 2024. But the two proved they're all good, laughing together on the red carpet. How meaningful has the relationship with David been experienced?
The friendships we made. Like, it sounds so corny, but it's so true.
We're like
You were so
siblings.
young.
I spent more time with them sometimes than my own siblings. But we had two really great, like Noni and
Great role
David
models.
were
Yeah.
amazing. Like that, it was like, when you get to do a scene with them, put on my big girl pants.
When The Hollywood Reporter caught up with Millie at the big LA premiere for the final season of Stranger Things on November 6th, they asked her straight up how she and Harbour managed to appear so united despite all the noise. And this part honestly surprised audiences. Millie basically said, "The cast has shown a united front for 10 years already." She said they've always been that way because they genuinely love the show and value their friendships above everything else. It kind of gives that no drama, we're professionals vibe. She also said she actually loved filming scenes with Harbour again this season. If anything, filming together felt nostalgic for her, like the energy they had back in seasons 2 and 3 when Eleven and Hopper were always clashing. She said their dynamic this season brings back that same tension of her growing, finding her own voice, while Hopper tries to parent her. And honestly, fans eat that stuff up. so it's understandable why she's excited for people to see it. But here's where things get messy. Back on November 1st, the Daily Mail reported that a source claimed Millie filed a bullying and harassment complaint against Harbour before season 5 even started filming. A whole months-long investigation supposedly took place, and Millie allegedly even had a representative with her on set while they were shooting. That's a lot to gloss over if it's true.
About the Millie Bobby Brown David Harbour situation. In case you're not aware, the Daily Mail posted a story on November 1st that Millie Bobby Brown filed a bullying and complaint against David Harbour on the set of Stranger Things, and quote, there were pages and pages of accusations, and the investigation went on for months.
Netflix, Millie, and Harbour all stayed quiet when People magazine reached out, which of course makes fans talk even more. One insider even said Netflix's silence speaks volumes, especially since Stranger Things is their golden child, and the world has been waiting forever for this finale. According to them, Netflix wants nothing, absolutely nothing, to overshadow this final season, not even the lead actor's private life. And honestly, that sounds exactly like something a big studio would do. They also pointed out Netflix never comments on internal investigations anyway, so the silence was pretty much expected. So here's another layer to this whole situation, and honestly, it's giving full-on drama series energy. Another insider told the Daily Mail that during the whole ordeal, David Harbour actually had his then-wife Lily Allen by his side. They said Lily supported him the entire time because, apparently, it was a brutal period for him. And if that's true, imagine navigating something this heavy while your marriage is falling apart at the same time.
On Friday, Variety confirmed that, quote, there was an investigation into Brown's complaint and that it was resolved. And then Deadline reported on Saturday, according to sources, she did complain about his behavior. However, it might not have been as recent as the report suggested. It has been dealt with, and there haven't been issues since. So there you have it. I don't think this lets David Harbour off the hook entirely, as clearly something did happen at some point. But now these images from the red carpet on Thursday certainly make more sense.
In case you missed it, David and Lily separated back in February after 4 years together, and Lily later dropped some not-so-subtle hints about cheating on her latest album. People online immediately connected the dots, especially since rumors started swirling that David allegedly had an affair with a costume designer named Natalie Tippett. And here's the thing, the internet never sleeps, and once it latches onto a rumor, it's over. But here's the part that really had everyone talking. Right after these headlines exploded, Millie and David still showed up at the Stranger Things Season 5 premiere, smiling, laughing, posing together like nothing happened. You would never guess there was a cloud of controversy around them. Millie even told Entertainment Tonight that she's always had a special bond with David because their father-daughter dynamic on the show naturally carried over in real life. She made it sound like they've grown together through every scene since day one, and honestly, that's sweet. It's the exact energy fans have always loved about them.
Are you like standing up there with David Harbour, and like how was that reuniting since you finished shooting?
It's been amazing. Yeah, I mean we're so lucky to have each other. The show means so much to the both of us and to everyone here. This has like been the last 10 years of our lives, so we've dedicated a lot of it, and we're so excited to see that come to screen.
And so many things have happened to you in your life. Like, what is the biggest change for you, and when did you know that this show would change your life forever?
I don't know if I have come to that realization yet. I just think like I've been living every day like it's the first day on set, and maybe that's what's made me hold on to every moment for dear life. But a lot has changed, you know. A lot has changed.
David, on his end, told the outlet he adores Millie and is incredibly proud of the entire cast. He talked about watching them grow up and become real artists, and he even hinted that this probably isn't the last time they'll all work together. He said it with so much warmth that fans couldn't help but wonder how something so emotional can exist alongside rumors this messy.
We have to talk about Stranger Things because we've had loads of questions. You played 11 for a decade. What was it like? You wrapped in December. What was it like filming those final scenes?
Incredibly emotional, saying goodbye to my favourite people, the crew, the other cast members, the directors, my family and I. You know, my family's been on this too. You know, they were as emotional as I was, just because they have followed me around, brought me to set every single day. So it was really, really emotional. Definitely a tearful day.
And then Stranger Things co-creator Ross Duffer got pulled into the mix too. At the premiere, The Hollywood Reporter asked him about the alleged complaint, but of course he couldn't say anything specific. What he did say, though, is that the cast feels like family after 10 years, and that keeping the set safe and happy has always been their top priority. You can tell he was choosing his words carefully. Very, I can't talk about that, but we love everybody energy. And honestly, that's why this whole controversy hit fans so hard. People have spent years watching Eleven and Hopper's father-daughter relationship become the emotional heart of the entire show. Their scenes are always some of the most moving parts, and fans have always believed that closeness was real behind the scenes too. In fact, David himself has talked about this bond for years. Back in 2021, he did an interview where he said he's always felt super protective of Millie because he knew her before she became insanely famous. He said he worries about her, about the fame, and about everything she has to deal with at such a young age. It sounded like pure dad energy, deep affection, concern, and that instinct to look out for her as she grows up in such a complicated industry, which is exactly why all these allegations and rumors feel so shocking and confusing. Fans are trying to figure out what's real, what's exaggerated, and what's just internet noise, because what we're seeing publicly doesn't match the whispers circulating behind the scenes. And honestly, that contrast alone is what keeps this story blowing up online. So even with all the chaos, Netflix is still rolling full steam ahead with Stranger Things Season 5, and they're stretching this finale out like a full holiday event. Volume 1 dropped on November 26th, Volume 2 is coming December 5th, and the grand finale is hitting on December 31st, 2025. Like, they are really making sure fans stay hooked until the very last day of the year. And honestly, that's a total genius move. But earlier this month, Millie and David were in the headlines nonstop after reports claimed Millie actually filed a bullying and harassment complaint against him before filming started in early 2024. One source even said there were pages and pages of accusations, though they emphasized none of it involved anything intimate. They also claimed the investigation dragged on for months, which just makes the whole situation feel even heavier. Some insiders added that Millie allegedly had a representative with her on set during filming, which definitely raised eyebrows. But then producer Sean Levy stepped in and shut down a lot of what he called wildly inaccurate reports. He didn't deny everything outright, but he said their priority has always been building a respectful workplace where everyone feels comfortable and safe. So it was very much a "we handled things internally, and we're proud of how we did it" type of statement. Classic studio damage control, but delivered politely. Despite all the noise, Millie kept things positive. She even said it was so nice and really exciting to reunite with David for the final season. And you can tell she meant it because the first episodes are already giving fans that nostalgic Eleven and Hopper energy from seasons 2 and 3. Millie talked about how their dynamic this season goes back to that classic push and pull. Her growing up and finding her voice, Hopper trying to parent her, and both of them clashing in a way that feels so familiar. Honestly, fans live for those scenes, and she knows it. She even said some of the fandom's favorite moments are always Eleven with Hopper, so she's excited people get to experience that dynamic again. And remember, just a few weeks ago at the big Season 5 premiere, Millie and David showed up together again, smiling, posing, whispering, laughing, doing everything they could to show unity. Millie, who just adopted a baby girl with her husband Jake Bongiovi, told Extra that she and David feel so lucky to have each other. She called their reunion amazing and said the show represents 10 huge years of their lives. You can hear in her voice that she's really sentimental about closing this chapter. But here's the kicker, because of course there's always one. A body language expert chimed in and said their cheerful red carpet interaction felt like overkill, like they were trying too hard to project harmony for the cameras. And honestly, after everything going on behind the scenes, fans online kind of get why someone would say that. It really feels like everyone involved is balancing nostalgia, professionalism, and damage control all at once. So here's where things get even more complicated. Years before all the allegations and drama, David Harbour was openly talking about how deep his fatherly affection was for Millie Bobby Brown. Back in 2021, he did an interview on the That Scene with Dan Patrick podcast, where he couldn't stop gushing about how special their bond was. He said he'd always felt a real fatherly instinct toward her. And honestly, at the time, fans found it sweet because Millie was only 12 when they first started filming Stranger Things in 2016.
See you and David on this carpet together. Talk to me about how special that connection is and really all these relationships you have formed in your formative year.
I obviously have a really special bond with David because we have a father-daughter relationship, and we do every scene together.
Yeah.
And you'll really get to see that, in season 5. It's been so special to have him along the journey for me. Winona, the kids. I'm really honored to have played 11 and to have met such amazing people along the way.
Some ways your childhood is so well documented.
I know, it's on Netflix, but most of my childhood is on Netflix at this point.
That's true.
Very, very honored.
I love it.
David even mentioned he knew her before she became insanely famous, and that he always worried about how she'd handle the pressure of being a young star. It really sounded like he wanted to protect her, both on and off set, which matched Hopper and Eleven's dynamic perfectly. But fast forward to now, and the vibe clearly shifted behind the scenes. Despite that long history, their on-set relationship has reportedly changed in recent years, especially after all the rumors about Millie filing a complaint. The contrast between past interviews and current headlines is honestly wild. One minute, David's talking about worrying for her like a dad. The next minute, people are whispering that things deteriorated enough for a formal complaint to even exist. Still, Millie stayed super diplomatic when talking to The Hollywood Reporter after everything blew up. She said the cast has always been united because they love the show and value their friendships more than anything. She emphasized that they've been showing a united front for 10 straight years now, clearly trying to highlight consistency and loyalty rather than conflict. And when The Hollywood Reporter asked why it mattered for her to stand beside David publicly after the allegations made headlines, she doubled down on that same message: unity, loyalty, professionalism. And on the red carpet, Millie told Extra that she and David feel so lucky to have each other, which sounds extremely warm considering the chatter around them.
Together on the red carpet. How meaningful has the relationship with David been as you've gotten older?
So much, so much. I mean, we play father and daughter, and similar to Noah and Noni, it's just like you have an amazing friendship, and
It's just been so special, like our friendships, and that's, I feel like, the most important part of
all of
the
it.
job.
Yeah, the human
What
connection.
you missed the most about this whole experience?
The friendships we made. Like,
Yeah.
it sounds so corny, but it's so true.
We're like
you were so
siblings.
young.
I spent more time with them sometimes than my own siblings. But we had two really great, like Noni and
Great role
David
models.
were
Yeah.
amazing. Like that, it's like, when you get to do a scene with them, put on my big girl pants.
Millie also opened up more about how her relationship with David evolved across all 5 seasons during an interview with Empire magazine. She described how they connected on another level from the start, him always looking out for her, and her being that annoying but lovable younger sibling energy around him. She even joked about climbing all over him on set and him rolling his eyes and laughing. It paints a picture of something playful and affectionate, which is exactly why fans are struggling to reconcile that image with the recent allegations. The whole situation just feels like 2 timelines overlapping, the nostalgic, wholesome version of their bond that fans know, and the complicated behind-the-scenes reality that's now surfacing. And honestly, that emotional whiplash is exactly why this story keeps blowing up online. Their off-camera closeness actually ended up shaping their on-screen chemistry too. Millie has said that the whole Eleven and Hopper dynamic grew naturally because it reflected how they were in real life. Their relationship in the show was basically mirroring what was happening behind the scenes. And David had always leaned into that. He admitted before that he felt protective of her, talking about how he knew her when she was still so young and before fame hit her like a truck. He used to say he constantly worried about her, worried about the pressure, the attention, and everything she had to navigate at such a young age. Back then, he described it as having this deep fatherly affection for her, both on set and off. Before the final season, David also talked about how proud he was of the younger cast and how they handled growing up in the spotlight. In an interview with Esquire UK, he said they're all genuinely good kids and joked that maybe it's because he's sober now, but it feels like this generation isn't as wild as his was. He said one of the things that keeps him grounded in the industry is focusing on the actual artistry of the job. According to him, so much is out of your control, like box office numbers or if people like your character. But the one thing you can control is your passion for storytelling and your own voice as an artist. Now, after more than 3 years since Season 4, Stranger Things is finally back for its huge final season. The story picks up 18 months later, with Hawkins completely taken over by the military and quarantined as the real world and the Upside Down start colliding. The group gets closer to hunting down Vecna, but now they're up against the literal threat of saving humanity before everything collapses. The full main cast is back. Millie, Finn, Gaten, Caleb, Noah, Winona, David, Sadie, Joe, and more, plus some new faces like Nell Fisher, Linda Hamilton, Alex Bro, and Jake Connolly. And even though this is the official last season, Stranger Things isn't stopping anytime soon. There's an animated spin-off coming next year called Stranger Things Tales from '85. This is set between seasons 2 and 3, and the Broadway show, Stranger Things The First Shadow, is already a massive hit, exploring Vecna's origins back in 1959 with younger versions of the adult characters. So Hawkins might be closing one chapter, but the universe is definitely far from over. Meanwhile, in Millie Bobby Brown's personal life, she really did marry into a legendary family when she tied the knot with John Bon Jovi's son, Jake Bon Jovi. She and Jake started dating back in the summer of 2021, and by April 2023, they were already announcing their engagement. Even John Bon Jovi couldn't hide how excited he was for them. He talked about how the two were growing together, totally in love, and how the family adored seeing them so happy.
Okay, so how did Millie Bobby Brown and Jake Bon Jovi? Well, I don't know. How did Millie Bobby Brown and Jake Bon Jovi? That's my question. Oh, it's meat! Oh God, that's embarrassing. How did we meet? We met on Instagram, the old Instagram, and we were friends for a bit, and then, what can I say?
After Millie and Jake officially married in May 2024, John later revealed that the newlyweds were doing absolutely fantastic. He described the ceremony as a small, intimate family wedding, saying Millie looked gorgeous, and Jake couldn't have been happier. Then, Millie and Jake surprised everyone again when they announced they had adopted a daughter over the summer, their first child. They shared the news on social media in August 2025, saying they were beyond excited to enter this new chapter of parenthood and that they hope to do it with peace and privacy. Millie had already talked earlier that year about wanting a family, explaining during a March 2025 podcast appearance that becoming a mom was something she'd dreamed about since she was a kid. And that's the full rundown on the Stranger Things controversy, the behind-the-scenes tension, the shifting relationships, and the surprising updates in Millie Bobby Brown's personal life. This story is still unfolding, so we'll keep watching as more details drop. If you enjoyed today's deep dive, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss our next scoop. Thanks for watching.